Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go, let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Woman News gonna come right through. Gonna give you that news just like you know it can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time. With the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman News. Let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman News, coming just for you. King Roman News, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman News, King Roman News.
Ooh. Y'all, I'm sorry. I had a Zoom call this morning. Baby. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, baby, I had a Zoom call this morning. When I tell you, I'll never do that again. Here I go. Oh, yeah. We can talk early this morning. What time are you thinking? 6 a.m. Oh my God, I am so sorry. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are here. It is 6:38 a.m. on the East Coast. I'm so glad you all are here. I know some of us have had a long, entertaining evening, and yes, I have been a part of it and watching. And baby, when I tell you, I'm exhausted. Nevertheless, I want to thank you all for being here this morning. We have a lot of different stories. I have about 12 different local news stories. We have positive news. We have some local stories. I want to get into this whole stimulus checks that some states have enacted. I want to go into some crazy stories. We're going to cover some updates, and then we're going to end on a few sad murder cases. So thank you for being here. I want to thank my moderator so much for being here, and I appreciate your help in every way, shape, and form. Thank you, members. Thank you, new subscribers. Thank you all for being here. And I want to just tell you all, I thank you. I thank you for your support, continued support. You all don't understand how sometimes it can become like, oh shoot, I have to do that. But this is less of a commitment for me. And it's more like a dialogue, a place where I can come and have a conversation about topics that I'll be like, damn. And also a point where I don't even talk to some people about it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna say that for the news crew. So some of the topics today I literally saved to talk with you all about it. So we are here. Good morning, no one cares. Again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. Mr. Torello, thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I am going to start working on my membership. What I wanted to do was so when I start going to like summer festivals and stuff like that, all of that footage I want to put behind the cameras, all of me hanging out with my friends and stuff. I want to put that on my membership. And so there hasn't been really any huge thing that we've done yet. I have something coming up Memorial Day weekend that I'm going to put behind the membership. Some of you all know I told you I'm going to be going to a new beach. But I'm not going to put nothing like that up, but I might put some candid moments up. I don't know if I'm going to put my outfit on membership. I don't know. Because, you know, you got a lot of people who might join membership just to pull stuff out and try to get you out there. So, but that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to be my personal zone where I can come and just kick it with you all, and keep my channel the King Roman News. And I do that specifically because King Roman News channel, I want to make sure that everything that's on this channel and the things that I do and cover on this channel are reflective of news topics for a lot of reasons. And it's also a creative way for me to protect what I'm doing here. And I'll just leave it there. Good morning, Egyptian goddess. Good morning to you, Grand Rising, baby, Grand Rising. Hey, marries. Good morning to you. How you doing? I'm glad to see you. I'm so glad you are a part of the crew as well. Good morning, Cheryl Burnett. Good morning to you, boo. Black Swan. Oh, baby, we got some stories to talk about, and I know you're gonna be all over them. Okay. Yes, DKL did that, and I'm so sorry for being a little late. I literally had to handle that call this morning. You know, I told you all before, I work with like boards and I work with executive directors on my consulting side. And when they get close to quarterly meetings, they always want to ring me up. Hey, we got a meeting. Can we go over these numbers and facts? And so I'm talking to them, and it becomes larger and longer and longer and longer. So that's what happened this morning. She's talking, and I'm like, okay, I'm lying to her like I got another Zoom at 6:30, but I got you all at 6:30. So I'm like, so, you know, maybe I can call you back after this call. So I'm going to reach back out to her. Her meeting is later today. So I'll be trying to help. And, you know, she's this. And so I'll be trying to help us out as much as I can, as much as possible. Good morning, DKL. Good morning, boo. Good morning. Good morning. DKL is such a creative, great person. It has been a pleasure just like getting to know DKL. Good morning, AJ. TC, good morning. It's so good to see you. And listen, I am so apologetic again for not being able to link up and do what you needed me to do. But listen, if you need me to record a video, a 60-second video of me being an alpha and what it means to be gay and all, and you know, and the connection, and you want to use it, I'll absolutely put on my best and do it for you, because I do apologize and I do get that message. And I would love to share that experience. You can be both and still do both as well. So I wanted to make sure you know that. Hey, Miss Margot. Good morning, Cash Apps. You going to a new beach, child? Yes, I am. Now, should I go get the shorts? No, because if I get the shorts, y'all gonna be like, they're sheer, they're see-through. That's enough for me. I was like, I'm not gonna be completely nude, but it's classy. I'm gonna say that it's very classy, because I'm always thinking about pictures and people recording and all kind of stuff. And you're not gonna get me. You can get them, but you're not gonna get me. I have a whole lot to protect. I always keep thinking about that. Like, oh my God, I'm still nervous as hell. I almost was like, can we sign non-disclosure agreements or some shit? Like, damn. Good morning, big girl. Good morning. It's good to see you. I know you've been busy too, baby. All right, y'all. So let's kick this show off. Okay, see-through shorts. Listen, I had to get it while the pickings were slim, because them things sold out quick. All right, let's get into the topics today. So first thing I want to talk about is some good news. Some good news, you all. So there's an anonymous donor who paid around $300,000 to cover more than 100 graduates at Texas Wiley College. And it was so cute. So I have a clip of the president of the college and him saying it to the class. And I was so, it was bittersweet because I'm looking at it and I'm also jealous in the same moment and spirit. I'm like, you know what? Why I couldn't get an anonymous donor. So graduates from a historically Black college in Texas were treated to quite a surprise on Saturday as over 100 students in Wiley's college class of 2022 were told an anonymous donor paid off their combined remaining balances of $300,000. They said that the anonymous donor wanted to set a continued path of success for the graduates, allowing them to strengthen their commitment to providing an affordable, exceptional education. And many people will recognize Wiley College from the Denzel Washington starring 2007 movie, The Great Debaters, which was based on the actual school's team in 1935 that defeated the reigning national champions at the University of Southern California. And I thought that was so sweet. So y'all check out this moment. And I remember graduating, I'm saying I would be in that seat. I'd have ran up on the stage. I'd have showed my whole ass. If I'd have got my debt cleared, I'm doing good by life. I'm telling you, everybody's going, you get a this, you get a that. So check this clip out. Oh, my computer won't work today. I see you. And just so you know, Twitter banned my other page, my King Roman News page, because of Jesse Williams. Well, they didn't ban it, but they temporarily took me down. I'm back up though. Jesse, play too much.
You are debt free. You do not owe the college a penny. If you have a balance, you had
a balance. Okay.
You no longer have a balance. You are debt free. You do not owe the college a penny. If you have a balance, you had a balance. You no longer have a balance.
And so I just thought that was so sweet. I wanted to open the show with a good moment, a positive moment. And I think more people of power, more people who have the influence, the wealth, and I say influence because a lot of times we think you got to have all this money to do it, but all it takes is to have that kind of influence to tap some investors and some friends to say, hey, let's just go cover the tab over there for the next graduating class. And if we start getting more of that, I think school will become more attractive to people, especially our historically Black colleges and universities, or the predominantly Black institutions, some schools who weren't historically Black colleges. I think that this is important. I was very, very shocked to see it. I always said for myself, I wanted to start a scholarship fund in my name or my son's name at a school. And even if it's just $1,000, $2,000, it's a scholarship in my name that I can endow, and every year I can fund it, and somebody's child will be impacted by me in some way, shape, or form. And it, that one impact can turn into 10 kids over my lifetime I've helped in some way at a school. So I've often thought about that myself. So, and I think it's a great benefit. So kudos to this anonymous donor, kudos to Wiley College, and definitely a shout out to those graduates of 2022. Definitely a great thing to do. Can I get 300,000 in my bank account? Okay, that was very, very sweet. Yeah, it was very, very sweet. After this week, the sector done had, we need to run it back like yesterday. Listen, baby. And I would love to do a running back with Jay Wilson. I'll tell you that much. I would love to do a running back with Jay Wilson. Now, that would be more comfortable for me because, see, he plays it cute, and it'll be just like he playing it cute with somebody who playing it cute. Don't get me. Don't have the sector go crazy on me. I thought you and you not, you already know how it goes. Dang, Jesse getting the girls' Twitter shut down. Yeah, my Twitter was gone, baby. They sent me a notice like I put the real picture up under the other picture, and they sent me a notice like, yeah, about that picture, we're gonna block you for about 12 hours and give you some time to think about it. So now I know no more doing that on my professional King Roman News Twitter account. That's a blessing. It really is. It really. Good morning, Shantae. Good morning. It's good to see you. You up holding it down. Such a blessing. Such a blessing. Those graduates are blessed to start your, and that's all it is, Shantae. That is literally the advantage that some kids who come from like Harvard and all these schools where they can afford to just wipe, it's paid for. You got wealthy parents. You come out of school with zero. That means you have the ability to get good credit, right? You can take advantage of renting for a year to stack on a good job, and then immediately go into home ownership, immediately go get the things that you need that makes people more successful, that continues that upward mobility in their lives. And so I thought about that, and I said, they don't even understand. If I could even tell them, you don't even understand what this does. Like right now, I would consider start saving money because you're already ahead of the bunch. You're already ahead of all of us. Baby, you're ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all come out debt free. I wish I could come out of debt free, and the only debt that I'm worrying about is my credit card debt or my car loans or stuff like that. So it is a huge blessing. I'm very proud. I was very proud of that anonymous donor. And baby, if I could ever get the money, I would. It would shout the sector. Jesse ain't baby. Yeah, I'll be in trouble. Why is this doing this? Jesse ain't playing. He said, "Pay me, okay." Oh, but did y'all get a chance to see it? A running back would be nice. Okay. All right. I got you. I heard Jesse had vegetables. Yeah, he was serving the girls. He definitely gave people a delight and I had to take that bad boy down. All right. Let's get into the next story. So now I was, I'm minding my business and reading these articles, and then on the bottom of my screen pops up, "Are you eligible for a stimulus check?" So do you know that there's some stimulus checks coming, but only for folks in certain states, because certain states have decided to enact that if the federal government fails to meet certain thresholds and certain market caps starting to happen, like inflation, like increasing the interest rate, that they would then give their citizens of the state stimulus checks. And so I was like, wait a minute, am I, I had to go, wait a minute. So I clicked the link, like, let me see what it was. And I'm definite, of course, as always, if it's a student loan cancellation, Roman not approved for it. If it's getting, some PP loan, Roman not approved for it. And if it's getting a stimulus check, I'm not approved for it. So the stimulus checks, the state's releasing new payments for May 2022. Actually, and it's this month. I'm talking about like literally next week, folks are about to start getting paid, and including Chicago. But I'm already mad about that, because I was like, here y'all go, trying to help people out. State support will be provided to the most disadvantaged sectors in order to help them cope with the effects of inflation and rising prices. So what they're saying is that so far right now, this month, and more states will be added, but this month, residents of 4 states in the U.S. will begin to receive stimulus checks to help them better cope with the effects of inflation on the prices. So far it's projected that California, Delaware, and Indiana residents will receive an amount of money through a check. And in Chicago, residents will be provided with prepaid cards for gasoline and transit. Thanks to the stimulus packages provided last year, California residents who received a check for $600 or $1,200 in the first stimulus package and the second for $1,100 and earn less than $75,000 a year and file their tax returns will be eligible to receive a stimulus check. And one of those checks will be between $600 or $1,200. Pissed I am. Colorado, those who have filed their taxes and either had a payment of $400 or $800, I guess they're going to provide that as a refund. So actually, no one will be, now it has to be between $400 and $800. So if you had to make a payment of like $900 on your taxes in Colorado, sorry. But they're saying that $400 to $800 is like a threshold for low income disadvantaged folks who like may have to pay taxes on their properties and they live in a low income neighborhood. So they're going to reverse that and give it right back to you. All right, Colorado. And some people may not see that as a benefit, but those who pay property taxes, and I'm talking about my TT and I'm all in her business, I understand what that means. Delaware, they're also issuing a tax rebate at the end of May. So those who have filed their taxes will also, if you're an individual, you'll receive $300. And if you file jointly, you'll receive a $600 rebate. And this relief is intended to help Delawareans facing higher prices at the grocery store and gas pump. And they're also working to issue another $300 one-time rebate check to qualifying taxpayers. So those who are outside of the already threshold. Now, Indiana, they're looking to provide residents who filed their tax refunds before January 3rd. So if you file before January 3rd, they're going to issue you a payment of $125, and those who are married couples will get double that amount, $250. And so they're not issuing any paper. And if you want a paper check, they'll do a debit card. But if you want a paper check, they're not doing that until July or August. So if I was you, link that card up to the system and get your coin. Illinois is projected to make payments of up to $400 this year to taxpayers. The city of Chicago will provide prepaid gas and transportation cards from the Chicago Moves program targeted to eligible residents. So it's 50,000 gas cards, $150 and up. And then there's 100,000 prepaid transportation cards for like the Metro and the CTA for $50. And it's to note that these cards will be assigned by lottery starting in the second week of May and continuing through September. So if you are in Chicago, go ahead and hit. Is it a website? Let me see. I don't know if it's a website or not, but if you're in Chicago and you've heard the news, you probably are already familiar with it. So go on and get your bag. I'm very happy to see that these cities have enacted progressive ways to combat some inflation, because there is inflation coming. And also with the interest rate rising, making it damn near impossible for small businesses to borrow at a sustainable rate to keep their business afloat. And so a lot of this stuff, people may say it's small dollars, but it adds up. It means a lot. And so kudos to those states. Where I'm at, I know, I ain't gonna say it. The governor plays like he is a liberal Republican, but I'm watching you. Grand rising, good people, except the people that be calling jobs. No. Listen, about that entire thing, I have no skin in the game, no side, nothing to pick. I feel like if you were impacted by the things that happen on YouTube, you have every right to take whatever repercussion you want to take. But and then on the other side of that, though, I think the person should be allowed within the law to respond, to defend themselves. That's why you have a defendant and you have a plaintiff. You have two sides of a party, because I put yourself in one person's shoes and put yourself in the other person's shoes. You really have to understand, like, there really is no win. You have to pick a side and then determine the path of that. And so, watching it, I just was like, wow. And like I said initially, it's always interesting to see how these larger CCs in this sector carry themselves when something like this goes down. So I wanted to watch how Jay Wilson handled himself, how he came, how he responded. Did he come back? Did he rise to the occasion? Did he quaver? And for the most part, he's shown up. He had a win-win celebration last night. I was like, wow. I mean, he got a lot of love and support from his subscribers. And that's really what it's about. When things like this happen, if you haven't built up support from your people to help you get through it, it means nothing. You will fall. You will fall flat and you will hurt and you will, and so, yeah, you can say that there's no love amongst content creators, but there's definitely love between the content creator and their subscribers, because that could have went totally opposite. And his subscribers could have totally went like, yeah, blah, blah, but they all stood there in the smack of it all. People calling them crazy and looking at them, and they're just standing there like, we're with you. I thought that was dope. Whether people supported him or not, I thought that was dope. Every content creator wants that. That's what every content creator wants. When some shit goes down with them, and it may be right, may be wrong, they want that kind of support. That makes it worthwhile coming back down here, smiling, doing your thing, even if you're hurting on the inside, even if you've cried about it, even if you thought like, damn, I really am in a fucked up situation. It's all about the platform and what you're doing on the platform, and can you come back? And it's for those watching us newbies, it's a lesson. That's why I said I want to watch, and I'm trying to see what do you do? I wasn't here for all of the other stuff. I didn't see how all the other stuff went down. For me, this was a great, like, oh, okay. Oh, wow. I heard the phone call. I heard it all. I was bouncing from room to room. I had 2 devices on. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I heard everyone's opinion, and I heard everyone's reasoning of why they were for it or against it. I heard it. I understood. You got to remember, everyone has an opinion, and so I heard everyone's opinion. Didn't make me feel one way or another. I had no skin in the game. I wasn't involved. But hey, it is what it is. We're here for another day. I'm sure we're gonna have another day of activities. Yeah, I don't ever want to contribute to someone's downfall. That's all. That's how I'm playing it. Even if it's someone else's side or the right side or the wrong side, I never want to be a contributor to someone's downfall, because I could be on that end of the stick one day. My day could be coming. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to just say, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. It will pass. And Jay Wilson, hopefully, this resounded. I'm not saying nothing else. I'm just saying, hopefully the impact of this resounded with you. That's all I'm saying. It resounded with me. Can someone dox the donor? Can someone dox the donor? This is shit people should be running exposed. Ain't you right about that? I agree. That image of Jesse is burned into my brain, baby. I mean, did it make him more attractive to you? I just hope these graduates make a minimum of $100,000 after taxes. Also, that they give back to the next generation. I do too. I think, yeah. I definitely think they should get back to the next generation. They've been afforded that opportunity. Governor Murphy, New Jersey, where's our stimulus check? Baby, okay. With all due respect, the U.S. should be ashamed. They don't do nearly enough for their citizens. I encourage you all Americans to read about neighboring countries and demand better. I feel you, because every time y'all come in here talking about Canada and stuff like that and what y'all can and can't do, I'll be over here like, damn. And by the way, that's where I think Casey White and them was trying to go, but we got that story coming later. I also, in the description box, I laid everything out so y'all know what we're talking about today. I'm trying to get better at that. This is not how you combat inflation. I truly hope that 75% of Americans get this, because 75% of the country is suffering. It's not, but I think it's the first step to show that it's almost like, oh, they're doing that, then we should do that. Oh, they're doing that, then we should do that. Then once you get like a bunch of states doing this, I think it'll force the federal government to have to do something, because then you have those states who can't afford to do that. And then they're going to be looking for the governor to say something to we need your help here. We need you to help us. And once that help goes there, it's like a domino effect, but it's just slow as hell. Like, we got to go through all of this we got to really go through like a recession. And they told us next year, I'm telling you all, and we talk about this in our meetings at work, but next year, Q1 and Q2, there is a recession coming. It's not going to be a heavy recession like we've seen in 2008, but it's going to be a very, very mild recession. Not where you need to go stock up on groceries, but you will definitely want to save some money, because you got to understand, with inflation, interest rate rising, businesses are going to start rising in pay, because their cost of doing business went up as well. So that is going to catch up with them, hit the books, if it hasn't started hitting their books now, especially from the effects of the pandemic. So we're going to be, saving a coin, so while we're in the summer, before we start going out and partying in the summer, just make sure for every good thing you do, every activity you go out and do, you put up a little bit of money. I always say that, like, okay, I'm about to do this, let me put X, Y, and Z. It's like you paying yourself for going out. Like, all right, you going out, here's the trade-off. Child, the way my grocery bills are set up, I'm gonna need Jersey to rub me a stimmy. Is Canada still receiving the $1,200 a month they have been getting since the pandemic? Okay, did you hear? That's what I was talking about. I remember when someone said that, I'm like, good morning, D-Miss. Oh, good morning to you. Or is it 2000? It was 1,200. Good morning, Sharika. Good morning to you. Sticks girl, good morning. Hey AJ, human know the emergency benefits have stopped, but they ran for 3 years, 1,200 per month plus other. That is crazy. So it was 1,200 a month for 3 years, baby. And I mean, that ain't even. That's not even. That's called pandemic money. That ain't even like no. That's a mandatory government assistance. Like you should be trying to help us right now. I am gagged by the whole thing. No skin, skip the games. Miss O, good morning, mods. Sharika, 3 years. Yeah, that's crazy. Human. The people who don't have the benefit can still apply for welfare or workman's comp if they apply. That's amazing. And they had to shut the border down for a bit because the run would have been overwhelming. You already see what I'm thinking. You know, I think I agree. Legalization of weed help the government pay people. I agree. Just remember, Jim Jones and Gacy all had a full of followers. No, but the thing about this, that is even if you have followers who are convicted and even they will get taken down. So it's still a domino effect. You can have a bunch of followers who support you, even if what you're doing is the wrong thing. But at a point, those followers, karma is a bitch. I'm gonna tell you that. So those followers will even. That's why I said I have no skin in the game. I feel no way or the other. You know, I'm certainly not affected by him in his role at his professional job, and I have not been affected by him on YouTube, so I don't have a skin in the game. But there are people who've been affected by him on YouTube, and some may say there are people who've been affected by him at his job. I haven't been a part of that, and so then it becomes it's his followers in support of what's been going on, and if they stand convicted in that support, then that's on them to carry that out. Like that becomes a demand. You know, you carry that out. You walk with that support. So we see where Jim Jones and Gacy and their followers went. Like you said, you know. So for me, it's just own, be convicted, own, and walk in your support. But be clear, be very clear about what it is you're supporting. You know, people can. I can enjoy Jay Wilson's entertainment on YouTube. That doesn't mean that I'm all for him being any other way. No, that's how many content creators down here are on BS 24/7. I watch it and I laugh. That doesn't mean that I'm supported. Cookie Tookie do dumb shit all the time. Andrew Caldwell do dumb shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? Nosy Ho, remember that. We all was here watching it, so we remember how that went down as well. So for me, it's just all about watching the end game, watching the long standing. How do you sustain what you're doing, even in the face of people who are against you? What do you do? Is it heavy? Is it thick enough? Are your subscribers going to feel the weight of that? And if they do, how do they respond? I think all of that is important. It's the dynamics, it's the skeleton and bones of this platform and how you run it and how you manage it. And if you don't understand that, I think you lose a lot. That's how I feel. I don't know. I don't feel affected by this. And because I'm not in it. But again, that doesn't dismiss those who were affected by things that he may have said, the words he have said about them, that doesn't negate that, and they have every fucking right to respond how they want to. That's like me going in the store and a person calls me an N-word as I walk in the store. Yeah, I'm about to respond. Yeah, you about to get this response. You know what I mean? Nobody can say, well, you should have just walked away. No, you can't tell me because you didn't get called that. You wasn't there. See, King Roman understands that. I get that people are in those shoes. That's why I can step back and say, hey, do what you do. You know what I'm saying? But be convicted in what you do. Ain't no pussy, no backpedaling and pussy popping. You did it, so walk that shit out. And that's how I feel. If the shit happened to me and it went down the same way as it did with him, I would have to be convicted in what I put out here on my YouTube channel. I have to stand by, yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I said. And if I feel otherwise, I heard another content creator say that if you're innocent, you don't have to really have anything to worry about. And I truly believe that. There's nothing to worry about. But again, that's between you, your platform, and your subscribers. That's where your support comes in. Like, Y'all, this thing, I'm telling you, this shit was crazy. I literally, I have friends who don't even watch this shit, but I sent it to a friend, just one video because I wanted them to hear what happened. I was like, is this even legal? Because I'm like, wow. And so it's so many aspects of this, I think it's just best to just know what happened and how it happened and the plays, and so you understand moving forward how this looks and how it goes. You'd be a fool not to walk away from this without a lesson. Like, I'm fucking crazy. I'd be nuts to not say that I've learned something from this. So, but I don't want to say he has a full of followers. I just want to say that he has a ton of love from his subscribers, and every content creator wants that, whether you think the content creator is a demon or not. I think that's the joy of having a platform. And I'm just being honest, and you can say it's being politically correct, but it's just being honest, putting it the best way I can as possible. I was in the bushes. I ain't never been in pearls. We're clutch, baby. Nice at paying folks with weed money. Right. I think that's great. That makes sense. That's where they are headed. Yeah. I have been saying we are already in a recession. Look at the cost of current living. It is only going to get worse. Plan ahead and wise. Yeah, absolutely. No, Curb isn't giving out those kinds of stimulus checks. Come on over. Canada has tons of space. Okay. Set me up, Nosy Gate. Baby, did you remember that? Okay. First time people's whole personal life hasn't been attacked because of their YouTube platforms. And when I saw that happen to Nosy Ho and other people, it was just a wake up call for me. Like, okay, straighten this shit up, define it. What are you doing? And the one thing at certain jobs is that if there's professionals at your job who are considered talent, and when I say talent, like, you may have a doctor who's a world-renowned doctor in transplant surgery. So they do interviews all over the world. They give speeches. They're considered talent. So with talent comes a different employment agreement. And in that, you have everything. You have social media clauses. You have terminology. You actually have a clause in there how you can speak about your role in your capacity at the organization. There's so many different things in there. There's do's and there's don'ts, and you have to agree and sign off on that as well as your HR business partner. But some jobs have that. They do have opportunities where you can serve in those roles. And some jobs welcome that because it helps the prestige of their organization. But as long as what you're doing externally in that role as talent is in a positive light, it's looked upon as, okay, that's not harmful. And you have to go through risk management training and risk management. Because I read this stuff. And a part of like what it was saying was like a part of the risk management training is like you have to read through scenarios, look at responses. You have to understand what response was right and what response was wrong. You also have to know resources in the organization that you must call on to, like legal affairs, stuff like that. So, I mean, some jobs, you never know what job has those protections. It's just up to you to figure out what you can do. Like, you can't just go and do something like this and think that you're not going to be impacted, especially given the sectors that you're in. Somebody's going to always find out who you are, where you are, what you do. Let me call them. Let me send them this. Let me tell them that, and you just got to be ready, arm first with the holy oil and the blood. You have to first be all of that. That's why I say you got to be convicted. If you good and your shit is good, then you're convicted. If you got an inkling that something ain't right, then okay, what's the lesson here? I mean, to me, that's how it is. Ain't nobody, and keep your head up. Walk this shit out. Like, all right, walk that shit out. Good morning, Nate. It's the prayer, clothes, and cussing the dead in the same breath. Absolutely. But here's the, Black Swan. Oh my God, we're not finna do local news, y'all. I'm gonna say this one last thing. But that has, that's persisted for so long, though. Like that. Even when I came on as a PCs, and I was, down, and I was probably the vocalist one about going against, Jay Wilson. Like, oh my God, that's fake pastor. He doing. So for me, that's persisted for a long time. So that aura about him has persisted for a long time. So when I saw certain things happen, for me, it was just like, okay, wow, now, okay, I get it. But I guess when certain players are involved who may find that deeply offensive, the game changes. Because again, I stepped on seeing all of that stuff, and I always comment on it. Go check my older videos. It ain't nothing. I hide nothing. I've always said that. I would be, if Tracy's old channel was up, you all would have a lot of history from who I comment on, what I said, always was dropping down. So, again, for me, it was just looking like, oh, okay. It was just trying to figure out a strategy on how to combat that, because you all were always offended by this. I don't know. Y'all don't get me. Come on, y'all, because y'all already know people adjacent. I'm down the street and around the corner. Around the corner. I watch YouTube like we watch Bad Accident. I just can't believe some of the things I see and hear, but I'm here for the fuckery. Period. That's it. You check in and check out. Hey Southern Belle, so good to see you, boo. So good to see you, bitch. Nosy Gate still gets hits. Baby, listen, I still be trying to figure like, what? Did y'all not? Chop that bitch down to her motherfucking ankles. Definitely a guilty pleasure that I tell no one in my real life about no one. It's so hard to explain. It's hard to explain. And then when you show, like, it's just hard to explain. If you got something to lose, don't behave like you got nothing to lose. I would never put my client. Baby, so doctors who turn talent got to do artist development. Baby, you understand it. And so then you're now sitting down. There's a whole committee. I heard that there's a whole committee of folks across an organization that comes together and reviews your talent addendums to make sure, and that requires them to do searches on you, all that kind of stuff. You give them your stuff, you let them look at it, and then they may have questions. And so you have to provide responses, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of different things like that. Yeah, it's crazy. My daughter bought me over here. Not your daughter. No, we might as well run it back ideas for the upcoming edition, baby. It's so much. That's why I said I had to wait for stuff to happen. Can you imagine? I started doing this earlier in the year. It's so much stuff and it's still stuff that's gonna happen. We still got the summer. Like I really want to do it in the fall because it's but right now we can start collecting stuff and think about this shit. But we got so much stuff to cover. Oh my god, I'm definitely gonna have to start this this show. Not beef adjacent. We at your front door. Pulled up in the van. Come on, nigga, hit this month. Let's talk about this shit. I'm outside right now in the van. We smoking. We talking about it. We catching up. Like, what is going on? Yes. Good morning. Good morning, King's Minion. Yes. All right. Let me bust these topics down. So stimulus checks, they're coming. Be on the lookout for those in those states that I told you about, but also remember that they're coming to other states near you. You just gotta be on the lookout in your local news. And of course, I'll bring it to you 6:30 Wednesday morning. All right. Taraji P. Henson has some words for us, and I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm just going to share it with you all. And I live for it, but I want you all to get into her. I just love her whole just attitude, baby. She just serves it to me. I like that shit. It's like she is who she really says she is. Oh my gosh. Baby.
Talk about abortion. I know we don't often go there, but abortion is one of those words folks sometimes say in a whisper, if we say it at all. But if we don't talk about abortion, we're going to lose the right to it. And that's a problem, a huge problem. If you're anything like me, you don't want politicians all up in your uterus, deciding what you can and cannot do with our bodies and making decisions about our families for us. Let's say you know someone who doesn't see this as a fundamental right. Someone who's not sure how they feel about abortion. Just hit them with some facts. Like 80% of people want abortion to be safe and to be legal. Rewind that. I said 80% of Americans feel like you and me. So why does a small group of loud, judgy people get to decide what we do with our own damn bodies? And I'm not feeling that. There's a lot of misinformation out there about abortion. Some people don't know that abortion is really common and safe. 40% of abortions are now completed at home with a 2-pill combo. And 1 in 4 women have had an abortion.
Stop it right there. I'm gonna share the video on my community wall. It's a great video for those who, want to have that common conversation with those, if you're having elevator talk or you want some figures, some points to have to carry this conversation on. It's a great video for that, for those who, are definitely an activist of abortion rights. I definitely share that on my community wall. Remember, I am definitely in support of women having the rights to their own bodies, whatever that looks like. I would be damned if I, can you imagine if this was males? That's why I always say, like, you can tell this is a male-driven society and world. Only there's no fucking way that a law could tell a man that it's illegal for him to bust a nut. He can only do it once a month, or he can't. You can't put restrictions on that. Like, can y'all imagine that? And so, to see that these restrictions are placed on women in such a public way, like, it has to be a law. This can't be a conversation between a woman, her partner, and the doctor. It has to now be in everybody's room for us all to pick apart whether it's right or okay. I'm not for that at all, because again, if the tables were turned, bitch, I'm going to be at your door too. No, you're not going to tell me no. I would become an activist overnight because for my own fucking rights. Again, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a male first. So I would jump out the motherfucking roof for my own rights. So I think that at first, I'm always for the right for a woman to determine her own body, what she wants to do with her own body. And then from there, the discussions can unfold. So I thought that was timely of her to put that out. And you always know that when Taraji comes out and says something, a domino effect hit. When she said something about Disney, what happened? That was crazy. All she said about Disney was, how y'all gonna stand by and let Governor DeSantis make don't say gay a bill and not do nothing about it? Baby, that was the little and Disney came out and said, well, we're gonna fight to repeal it. And then what happened? Oh, y'all are? We're going to pull that right from you. No more special tax district. And then what happens? The residents in that town now suing the state of Florida because they're like, okay, now we got to pay the bill. They was footing the bill. We was living good Gucci. Now we got to pay the bill. And it's a small minority of them. You got to remember, in this special district, it was only like 75 homes in addition to Disneyland. So now those 75 property owners have to come up with a bill that Disney was footing. And now between you and I, we know the 75 property owners are probably employees, executives of Disney. We know that for a fact. So we know they got all together, they're high-powered attorneys, and decided to sue. So let's just be clear about that. We know that that's a part of that. But I definitely thought this Taraji P. Henson, putting her voice behind this, again, it goes far. She has some weight. And it's all about a discussion. She is not sitting there saying that you should lean one way or the other, but it's about listening to the facts. Here are the facts. And when you get these facts, you still think it's okay to proceed how you are. And if so, then fine. Again, I'm not here to change or sway you anyway. Do what you want to do. But I just want to make sure that you all understand there are some facts out here that are valid, right? And attack each other. Okay. All right. Yes, I would hear the mess through her headphones. And I heard a certain content creator talking big-ish. My daughter know I like watching messy. Oh, that's sweet. Who the fuck is that? Okay, my cousin did that to me on it was between Spill It and Phi Babe, and I was home for Thanksgiving, and I had the laptop in the kitchen playing. She was cooking, and I was in the bathroom right there, and I had left the laptop up playing, and I was going between both of them. He said, she kept saying, what she say? What they say? And I was like, that's when I first put her on, like, yes, let me tell you about this. And she was just like, they do that on YouTube? I said, all day? What do you mean? All day? I showed my friend Hey Nicole, good morning, boo boo. I show her who, because it's one female she really get into. Who is it that I show her? She was like, "Oh, I like her. Who is that?" I'm not even gonna say her name, but it was one female, and she was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh yeah," and so I sent her channel and stuff like that. It's very hit or miss with me because I have some friends like, "You got time for that?" And I'm like, "Just to listen." What you mean? You to drive, babe, suntan day. Good morning, Carrie Ray. Good morning, Boo Boo. Good morning to see you. It's good to see you. I know you've been up through it all. You'll never see it. I sure did. I was usually over in the crime part of YouTube. Baby, you're not losing the right to have abortions. I don't want to pay my taxes for free abortions. I am here for abortions that are safe or that are in an abortion or life at risk. If you want an abortion, pay for it yourself. And I think that's perfectly fine too. If you're saying that, you don't want it to be federally funded, it should be a private, a private entity. I think that's okay too. I certainly think, I don't think that's a problem at all. Now, I think there should be programs to help those who are disenfranchised who cannot afford to pay. I definitely think you always should think about tipping the scale because let's be honest, every fucking product in America, everything down to groceries, toilet paper, all the way up to cars and homes, there's going to be someone disenfranchised. There's going to be someone who can't afford toilet paper right now. There's someone who can't afford groceries right now. There's someone who can't afford, all of this stuff. And so if we don't tip the scale somewhere for somebody, I mean, so when it comes to abortions, I definitely think if it's okay in a state, that state should then make it offer some level of assistance. And I think we see that also in a private way. You have jobs out here now saying, hey, we will pay for your transportation to and from a state if you need it for an abortion, which will then become a conflict between the employer and that state, which I see Amazon. I'm like, Amazon, but they're in California, being based in California, but having so many places elsewhere. I see it being a problem for them. Absolutely. This does affect this. Wait, I'm sorry. This does affect males too, because if males want to agree with their partner now, it's not the time to have a child. And now the man now has to be responsible for a child he isn't ready for, which again, I'm back to that conversation between, I don't think that the federal government should then come in to the household to have that conversation. I think that conversation would be between that and the partner and whoever doctor. And if I definitely think there's some legal rights, but if the mother is willing to have the child against the father's, wishes, I'm not even going to talk about condoms and stuff like that, but I think that that's where the conversation becomes. And that mother then has to understand that you doing this against the wishes of your partner, what does that look like in terms of consequences? Does this mean that now you have to raise a child on your own? Do you have to take them to court for child support? And then the individual who decided to have, sexual relations without a condom or without any type of, plan, even if it was just like that one moment, love moment, this is the shit that you got to think about. You got to think about it. So again, I mean, I'm not right or wrong. I'm just saying that there's always an opportunity to think about this stuff. Like, I know sex is good, we want to fuck, but you also got to think, do you want to have a child? And if you do, have at it. But if you don't, then what are you going to do to protect yourself? Like, we all want a lot of money, but we all ain't robbing the bank. It sounds good, but we're not doing it. We consciously think about the effects of doing that kind of stuff. And so why don't we consciously think about the effects? And I can say it easily. You're a gay man, you're not having sex with a woman and accidentally get pregnant. I can say that easily. And that could be like irresponsible of me, but it's irresponsible for the person who thinks that it's not okay for the flip, So, because I have conversations with men like this. I'm here for the intellectual foolishness. So there's a lot to be converting people from the true crime sectors to the beef sector, baby. That's why I know that doing crime stories and stuff like that is juicy for the beef sector. And I got to get back into that. I just got to get the time. Well, I got 3 clients on the side. I got my, it's just like hustlenomics for real over here. Child, I thought we talked about the back history of Planned Parenthood. What is wrong with me? Are there not any other organizations who will fight for women's protective rights? We talked about that. T. Trisha 1, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Lex Get Real. I saw you all over the place, baby. I know you a little bit tired. That was my reaction. That's exactly what my was like. What? Now who said? Wait a minute. What happened? You got to start pulling out old videos. So this was what happened originally. What? And I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But you build a bond with so many people, even if it's an indirect bond. You build indirect bonds, and we talk about that at work, building indirect bonds. You build indirect bonds with people by nature of just doing a routine thing all the time. We all come to the same place. We all see the same stuff. We talk about the same stuff. We all have an experience of it and an opinion of it. It's like if we were in the room with 50 other people, us two would know exactly what's going on, and everybody else would be like, huh? Who? We know the players. So it's like an indirect bond you have with folks in the beef sector. And it's unlike any other sector. That's the amazing thing. It truly is. And I think it's because you have a very finite amount of characters whose opinions really have weight. And then you have a finite amount of subscribers who will definitely show up for the shit show. And I think that combination is just, it keeps it tight. It keeps it real, like, you ain't in, bitch. You in, real tight. You can see those who have elevated to the levels of major players and those who have fallen by the wayside, those who have lasted forever. Yeah, so it's like a little community. And see, it took time for me to really understand that. When I first came, I'm like, it's just like, what are you talking about? It's just like, but now I understand, no, there's a web here. When I heard people say, yeah, we all got your number. I said, wow. They got numbers like that, and that's crazy. No one talks about how large the ADOS population would be if they didn't abort so many babies. I remember back in a day when it would be nothing for someone to find a woman laying in a pool of blood in the restroom, or someone home hemorrhaging in the alley after done doing the home version of it. Yeah, there has to be some regulated version of it. I swear you're trying to get me blocked because I know I'm a whole fool and press gas. No. Wrap it up twice. Condoms are so cheap. But not before you hit this blunt, sis. Okay, good morning, Slappy. Good morning to you. It's good to see you this morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know you've seen this shit. The Raz. Yeah, true crime is good. These folk in the beach sector keep cutting up. There's gonna be some stories from down here. Oh my God, some nuts and screws over here. Good morning, Voodoo. Good morning. I know it. I know Voodoo, like, what's going on. Also, be aware that this removes a certain portion of people temporarily from the workforce to raise children and allows others to make gains. Remember, Black women are the most educated in the country. And I'm not even gonna say like, but absolutely, I get absolutely what you're saying. And that's why I think that there needs to be some level of, state stepping up to say, hey, wait a minute now, we need to protect the rights, and I always say it's just not Black women who, may contribute to getting abortions. There's definitely some diversity in there. And when I say diversity, like higher percentages between those who are getting abortions, Black versus other races, definitely. So much that we understand that, it's always a joke that Blacks are on on government assistance paying for their children. Well, if they're paying for their children, they're on government assistance. Who the fuck you think getting all these damn abortions? Like, where you think they doing that at? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just like half the story is being told. It's just, for me, a political game. And I have my own views on abortion, and I don't want to sway anybody on what they think, but I'm always here for the woman's right to choose over her own body. Folk pulling out pews. I was like, what? Yes, I didn't even, it was just like I had left the room to go somewhere else. And then in the chat, they were like, X, Y, and Z happened. And I said, no, wait a minute. So then I go over there. By the time I went over there, the video down, a new video up. I'm in the room like, Lord, what's going on? But yes, that's why I said it's so much running back footage. It's so much running back commentary. It's so much stuff for running back. I mean, I'm just here for it. I've been taking my notes and just like, okay, here we go, some shows. But we do know one of the large players this year, the rising stars this year in the beef sector, is Dovey. Absolutely, 100% without a doubt, a major rising star. and from how she started to now, I absolutely definitely see her growth within the sector. Just stay strong, mama. Stay strong. But I definitely it's definitely been a 180 to see her come full circle. Speaking of bank robbing and hustlenomic, made me immediately a movie. It's all about the Benjamins. Kimberly Black, good morning to you. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get to these stories. Y'all know for real, the sector about to move into true crime. People don't make better decisions. Ooh, baby, Carrie Ray, like, don't she be putting it together? Carrie Ray, you doing the damn thing. And no matter if abortions is out later, there will always be abortions. The rich get their family doctors to say you have had a miscarriage to legalize a DNC, which in turn gets an abortion. Period. I always feel like there has to be some way around the system. Absolutely. This is death political to control the population with less money. Yeah, definitely. Dobie has come a far way, hasn't she? Absolutely. All right. Let me get back to this. What we doing? All right. Now back to the news. So we're moving now from the local news, political stuff into some of the crazier stories that I've seen. And I'm gonna try to get through this for the next hour. All right. So first one is this Texas mother has been sentenced to 30 years in prison after allowing her 13-year-old daughter to marry a 47-year-old man. Now I'm getting to this shit. So this lady married her 13-year-old daughter off to this man, right? Now, no one knew about it. She had been married to the man for about a year, having sex, doing all kinds of stuff, right? And then the girl goes to the doctor. And the doctor says, what's going on? Because, you know, after the doctor is performing a physical on a 13-year-old girl, they can see certain things. And the girl, thinking what she's been a part of, being married to this man, by telling her, yeah, I've been sleeping with my husband. And the doctor says, your husband? She says, yeah, he's 37. And the doctor say, what? So the doctor takes a picture of her and takes a picture of the mother and sends it to the police. And so then the police comes to the crib to arrest the girl, to arrest the mom, to figure out what's going on. And the mom says, it's our religion. It's what we believe in. What religion did she say she was a part of? It's our religion. She says that they were a part of no religion. That is a part of her normal religious beliefs. And that the guy, her husband, who was 34 years her senior, he was 47, named Stephen Carty. And so, there we go. They were following the Hebrew Israelites faith. And so at that point, the police officers arrested her. And then she has now been sentenced to 30 years in prison. And that now the young girl is surrounded by a strong support system, and that she has a grateful adoptive mother, a court advocate, and she has caseworkers from a child protective services who will be supporting her for the remainder of her years in custody until 18. Now, what they're saying is Texas law requires that people be 18 years old to get legally married, through exceptions, allowing 16 years old to get married to exist. Now, what kind of crazy shit is this? You know, I instantly said, first of all, this woman must have been getting paid. She either was getting paid or there was some benefit for her. There was something was being done, drugs, whatever, something was being done. And for this to have went on for a year, to the point where the girl just thought it was just normal. She's at the doctor's like, yeah, she's like, the doctor's like, this is like signs of sexual abuse. What's going on? Are you sleeping with my husband? Your husband? And the mother just like, yeah, I consented. I gave her approval. It's our part of our religion. Are you slow? We're in America. I don't think that's right at all. Period. And so the guy, he was also arrested and charged, and he's facing 22 years, one for aggravated sexual assault, and one for a sexual assault of a child, and one for sexual assault of a minor. And he's facing between 22 Oh no, he's facing 22 and 20 years concurrently for aggravated sexual assault. So he's facing two possible sentences in this case. So I'm thinking about the mother. Like, how do you make this rash decision and be so naive to think that it's okay that your daughter has been brainwashed that she's fine? Like, you've been living with this for a year, knowing that your daughter's in the next room, a 13-year-old girl. Now, I'm gonna give you a picture of her picture again. She doesn't look like she's. I mean, looks can be deceiving, but she doesn't look as if she's lost it. Like, she doesn't have the mental capacity to understand that that shit was wrong. What is, and then you wonder why some kids really come to terms like the way they are. I hope that child has all the recovery she can get from a year. I hope that she finds true love and know that the love does not come at no 47-year-old man. I think that is just so disgusting. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth, and no matter if abortion is out later, there will always be abortion. Oh, I read that. I'm sorry. All right. Say what? Baby, crazy. That's a baby, right? That's a baby. Oh hell no. Also, it's not mostly black women getting abortion. Studies show it's mostly women of non-color between the ages of 20 and 40. You better tell it. Don't listen. When I tell you I be knowing the facts, I instantly go look at the facts and figures when I hear shit like, oh, okay. Yuck. Period. Hey, Risa, good morning to you, boo. Good morning. Risa, we was right there. Lip, locked, and loaded. Okay. This whole week. I remember this story. The family posted 13-year-old pregnancy on Facebook. The entire family was part of it. So the family was a part of it? No, ma'am. How could your family be a part of something like that? You have to be sick. You have to be sick as hell. The baby doesn't even, the 13-year-old girl hasn't even lived a complete life yet to even understand what it feels like to be a mom. She's a child herself. She's 13. Oh, you be good, Carrie. You be good. You got support. Good support, too. What about that husband? Yeah, got that ass. What a grown man need with a baby. I think it's control. More so, the older a person gets, the harder it is to control them, because the more they know, the more they've lived life. Not the Hebrew Israelites. Right. You're creating your own lane. Of course, 40 years, not enough. I hear you back behind me. Child, can't say too much. I was 17 when I got married, been separated the last 4. Yeah, that's a lot different to me. 13, I feel like is 13 is definitely, I think that's really pushing it. Good morning, Blackberry. Good morning. Thank you for being here. That is absolutely sad. Sadly, she's probably fighting to get back to him. Wow. When the leadership ain't got good sense. So you think that? Good morning, Shay Beezy. It's good to see you. Them adults fail that baby. Indigo, what's going on? Good morning. This kind of thing is very common. They be posting this stuff online and proud. I don't think nothing is proud about that. And in fact, I think almost all of those family members need to be part aiding and abetting as an accessory. You knew this shit and you never reported it. I mean, god damn, what about the rights of the kids? Sometimes we gotta, I can only imagine, you enjoy something you don't know. I can imagine her just thinking what's going on is normal. Like, honey, you don't even know. Like, you're married at 13. And so I'm not saying some of the stuff I want to say. Let's think about the abuse, not just the sexual abuse, the other abuse, the mental, the emotional, the verbal, the physical abuse that this 13-year-old girl hasn't lived a life to withstand, to know how to respond well enough to. Someone telling you, shut the F up. You're 13. You're probably like, oh my God. So now for the rest of your life, you think that looks like love. See, for me, that's why I said, when you say, 17, 18, 19, you may have had some time to build your emotional capacity. But I think 13, I think at that point, you still trying to hang with your girlfriends and like you still trying to, have fun. To be controlled so heavily with something so sacred. I mean, unless you are trying to eliminate the rights of this young girl and control her for whatever you need, then what else would it be for? They raise their girls that way. Wow. Well, my heart goes out to the young girl and the adoptive mother. And I hope that she makes a full recovery. And I really do hope she becomes a productive citizen to society. And it sucks to be, a part of something like this when you don't even want. I always think about people who grow up in like the polygamy families and stuff like that, and that's all they know. So they grow up, they don't know anything else. The women and stuff like that, and to them that looks right. So who am I to judge? But only thing I can say is that it sucks to have to know that there's people out in the world who don't know anything other than some stuff like this. So I'll keep the focus on it. What kills me is that these girls go to public schools and those adults are unaware every day. I got pregnant at an early age, and I kept the dad a secret till I gave birth because our families were close, and I knew my dad would put a shell in his ass. Baby, we all got families. Yeah, we all got family stories. Trust and believe, honey. My favorite cousin. I love her to pieces. Growing up, I mean, to the point where we would make up dances to music videos in my auntie's basement, and we would be at Six Flags. We was like thick as sleeves. And then one day, she met this guy. I'm not giving the intricate details of it. And he's way older than her. They began having some things. And then she got pregnant. And then the rest changed. And I mean, literally lost contact, all kind of shit. And it was very heartbreaking. It's still heartbreaking to me to this day. Every time I go home, I'm like, oh, where's, X, Y, and Z? I miss her. And everybody's just giving me the same story. So when I tell you, yeah, girl, I know. And I be wanting to go see my cousin so bad, her and her babies, but I can't. And I miss you so much, cousin. I really do. I really, really do. King Roman, the women are completely brainwashed. They know nothing of this so-called Babylonian ways. You got to watch gypsy documentaries. That is some insight to this behavior. Okay. They are homeschooled and taught to run a home. Ooh, that is a great point. They completely miss signs of abuse or even child pregnancy. It's sad. It does become a sad state of mind when you know that people are perpetuating this and it's the family. Like, okay. So, sad case. Mother is sentenced to 30 years. The guy is being scheduled to be sentenced to 20 years and 22 years in two separate sentencing. Now let's move on to this other story. So, baby, let's talk about crazy. So on Mother's Day, many of us were, celebrating, or at least you were showing some love or some sort of support for your mother on Mother's Day. Some of us were down at the beef sector where they were just going. It was a shit show. But this guy gave his mother an Xbox game controller for Mother's Day, and they got into an argument about it. Two conflicting reports. One says that they got into an argument about the Mother's Day gift. The other report says that the Mother's Day gift was an Xbox game controller that she did not want for Mother's Day. And so they got into an argument. The mom then decides to leave her own house, leave her house. She's going out the door with her friend, and the son pulls out a shotgun and shoots his mother, shoots her at the door. Now, she got rushed to the hospital. She's in critical condition, but they're stabilizing her, so she didn't pass away. But he was arrested. Now, Jacob Smalls, about an Xbox game controller. I'm sitting here thinking, like, I mean, was it that serious? Like, did it really make you that mad that she didn't want the game controller? So he told deputies he engaged in a verbal argument with his mother over an Xbox controller that he gave his mother.
Bodie Brooks joins us in the newsroom with more. Bodie. Yeah, guys.
I hate when that happened. He disclosed to deputies that he retrieved the rifle and followed his mother and the other woman, neither of whom were identified in the news release, out to their car where he opened fire at his mother. He led deputies to where the location of the shooting happened, and he retrieved the rifle. The mother was treated for her wounds. She was transferred to the University of Kentucky Hospital for additional treatment, and her condition remains unknown at this time. He is currently being held at the Wayne County Detention Center, and he's being charged with attempted murder, domestic violence, and second-degree criminal mischief. What a a fucking nut. What a nut. What a nut. I mean, what a way to change your life in a matter of what, 10, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You know, if she didn't like the game controller, this is your mom for the rest of your life. Okay, you got another year to make it right. All you had to do was say, okay, great, cool. You don't want it, I'll keep it. Fine. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And move the fuck on. What is up with the pride, the egos? Which then leads you to, like, there probably has been additional arguments, like, you know, that they've had, and for him to want to escalate it to the point where I'm just going to shoot your ass, I'm going to shoot my mom, means that their arguments have gotten heated and heated and heated and heated. I wouldn't be surprised, allegedly, if he hasn't struck his mom before. I wouldn't be surprised or shocked at that. And him wanting to inflict his pain. Now, my question was, how far does a mother's love go? So this happens. Your son is charged. Are you going to go to court? Are you going to give a testimony? Are you going to assist the DA in prosecuting your son? Or do you say that, you know, it's his mental health? I love him. You know, this just was a small incident. That was the first thing I went in my mind. I said, now, what do people say? Like, would you be for it? Would you like, I don't know. And I'm thinking, like, what would you do, Roman, as a dad? And part of me was like, I want him to sit in there for a little bit, at least until I get better, until I'm at a point where when he comes out, I can deal with him. But I know that ain't no just sitting him in there for a little bit. It's either he's going, you going with it, or you're not. But I wouldn't feel safe with my son returning back to my house and I'm in a condition that I'm in, given you've already shot me. Like, I would have to have, like, I don't know. What would you mothers do? I need the mothers to step up and tell me, what would y'all do? You know, my daughter's dad was a good father, but my dad was like, I don't want to ever see as, and believe me, when my dad came in town, he turned into a ghost. Okay, at least you had a good dad. That sounds like a good dad. That's yes. On Mother's Day. What a way to spend her Mother's Day. Oh man, what are you in here for? Son shot me. That's not cool at all. See, he didn't get enough whoopings as a child, and there we go. Okay, this is stupid and hard to process. Thank you. Yeah, you guys, please hit the like button, share, subscribe. I appreciate it all. And thank you to, he know who he is. Thank you so much for the Cash App. You always come through. And I think when you Cash App me, I think it was Saturday, I was standing in like a Starbucks line or something. Whatever it was, I pulled out. I was like, oh, so it was right on you. So I actually did get me like a mocha frap on you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You know exactly who you are, Mr. Sir. That's just like the dude that shot his own mother and daughter a week before her graduation. Wow. How dare he? She gave him life and he tried to take hers. How did that even get there? How? Okay, she don't like it. Let it go. Hey, Zap. Thank you so much. My mother would have shot me if I gave her an Xbox controller on Mother's Day. Who the fuck? First of all, who's doing that? Who's giving there? You have to be, now the mentalness has to creep in. For the thoughtfulness of the gift, Xbox game controller, like, what's she supposed to come play with you? That's supposed to be a gesture. Hey, come play with me. You right. You lucky she didn't shoot you. Right. Like, you right. Thank you. Thank you so much. You have a great day at work. No one cares. Crazy. I could never. I wouldn't even dare to raise my hand towards my mom if she doesn't. Exactly. If she doesn't want the gift, then you just let that shit go. Hey, Rita. Good morning, Rita. Thank you so much. Good morning, Rita. It's good to see you. It's been a minute. It's been so good to see you, Rita. If it was me, he would rot in jail. Okay. So you will leave your son in jail? Okay. I would assist and take my son out of his work. Oh, wow. Now, Roman, I'd at least have to pistol whip his This year, Mother's Day was bloody murders, blood all over the floor. Yeah, this year's Mother's Day was crazy. If my son ever tried, I'm treating him like a man on the street. Okay. As a mother, If my child tried to kill me, prosecute to the fullest extent of law. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't expect this. I won't have a son if he did that. I'm sorry, but I won't. If I had a child, they would never. I would take them out since I brought them into this world. Wow. I was shocked about that. I'm on way. All right, Voodoo. You have a great day at work. Thank you. Thank you, babes. I appreciate you. You know I do. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. That changed my mind. Okay. I was like, I wonder if this mother, so maybe she might then proceed. I automatically thought she was going to be like, no, that's just my son. Let him go. Oh, wow. Okay. Then I'm with you all. I agree. I agree. You're doing good. Keep up the good content. It's going to pay off. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I definitely had moments where I'm like, especially when you see, like, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Last night, baby, when I was sitting there watching Jay Wilson eat, he was eating it up. I was sitting there like, oh, that must be great. But I have to keep putting things in perspective. This man's been dying for a long time. He has a lot of support, even all the content creators, and you have to build up to that. So I have to keep reminding myself, times like that will come. But just keep doing you. But that shit right there yesterday, that man ate up yesterday. He really, I mean, wow. I just was like, wow. So I love what we doing. It's just, so thank you for that, Rita. Thank you. Mama Slappy will uppercut my through the roof and I'm going on arrival. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna ask my TT. I know she gonna tell me, take him out this world. Your son tried to take your life over a game control. I think that's definitely a case for disowning. Thank you, Slappy. I appreciate you. And I said that great content in my head in your voice. Great content. If I said it right. All right. Next one, Tucson Brawl. So let me tell you about this Tucson Brawl because see, we always talk about stories like this. Parents, this is for you. So let's say you have a special needs child at school, right? And the kids at the school have been bullying your special needs child at the school. And you have a daughter with the special needs child that goes to the school, right? And so it's gotten so bad that the bullying has went to online where the parents of some of the kids that are bullying your child are online, saying stuff about your child, showing pictures of your child getting put in a headlock like this by other kids. Now, this is your special needs child. So it got to a point where one day the bunch of kids were trying to fight the special needs child. So they called the school called the special needs, the father, and said, hey, you got to come get your kids because again, a riot is about to start. And now I'm not going to say the father isn't bad on this because what the father was doing, he was online also replying to them and saying, yeah, you touch my kid or whatever, I'm gonna beat your ass. You're just saying stuff like that, which kept it up. The other parents is gonna say, well, they're going back and forth. So the day he went to go pick up his kids from the school, right? The school said, sir, we need you to go out the back door. Do not go out the front because all those kids are standing right there. So this man ain't gonna do shit to me. What you think he does? He takes his special needs son and his daughter and he walks them right through the crowd. And now we're here. So the father is arrested after this brawl. Now there's footage all over here. So there's footage of this father choking the fuck out of this little kid on the ground. And I first saw the video and I'm like, oh no, not a parent doing that. But then when I read the story, I said, oh, okay. Because I would choke every motherfucking child up in here. And when I tell you that father was out there handling them, he was out there handling them. Now, it wasn't right. It's not right. He's been arrested because he was perpetuating it. Remember, he was on social media. Every time they were saying and doing stuff, he was also coming back as the father, talking to kids. So that's when parents started getting involved. Like, hey, you got this man harassing my kids over some shit in school. Y'all need to handle this shit in school. And the school's like, okay, we're going to just get these kids out the school. So let me show y'all this footage of a little bit of this brawl. And y'all tell me whose side y'all on. I don't know, because if this man would have came in and jacked up my child like this, we all would have been doing some shit. It would have been a whole bunch of brawls. Oh, you perfect. Look at this. Thank you, Jesus.
educational institution, and Tucson police say they are taking the charge of aggravated assault to the Pima County Attorney's Office. He was released to pretrial services. The 15-year-old was released to his parents. He was charged with disorderly conduct, fighting. News 4 Tucson has heard from students, parents, and teachers about the school brawl. They say these are fights that have been going on since the beginning of the year, and it's the same kids over and over. They are concerned the violence is escalating and someone could get seriously hurt. The teachers say the district is doing nothing to protect them or the students. We asked Superintendent Gabe Trujillo about this.
We are not going to stand for parents coming onto our campus and putting hands on kids. That's number one. Number two, any student that was involved in yesterday's fight, any student that made the decision to engage in violence on our campus, they will be subjected to the disciplinary consequences in our TUSD conduct. The majority of those consequences do carry suspensions, both short-term and long-term, depending on the level of involvement.
Dr. Trujillo says that he denies that these brawls have been going on since the beginning of the year. And coming up at 5 o'clock, you'll hear what the Teachers Union has to say about yesterday's brawl. Reporting live from Tucson High, Lupita Murillo, News 4 Tucson.
Now, the only reason I played the same video of the brawl that they played was because I don't want to get flagged. Last time I started playing brawls and stuff like that, they age restricted the video because the brawl shows that you go on Twitter and just type in Tucson Brawl and you'll see the full 2-minute clip of an actual student catching the fight. And you'll see the father punching, swinging, grabbing kids, throwing them to the ground. And then you'll see the special needs son standing right in the front getting choked the fuck out. And so that for me was enough to say, I think that the school here is at fault. The father, yeah, he's at fault to a certain extent. But I think the school is here at fault. You knew this was going on. You knew it came from online. Instead of trying to protect the minority, you want to protect the majority because that's the majority of the students because of these two kids that they want to bully. Hell no, I would have had everybody arrested. Everyone should have been. They should have. Now you want to talk about suspension because it made the public news. It made national news. Now they want to talk about suspending these other kids and these other students. And the principal wants to say this is an isolated incident. They haven't been having these brawls. No, if it went to social media like that, they've been having several of these. You don't know the temperature of your school. And unfortunately, it's escalated to the point where it's made national news. No one should know that. I should not know the intimate details of something like this at a school in Arizona. Is it Oklahoma? Yeah, Arizona. I should not know this. Whose side am I on? First, morally, I'm going to walk my kids out the back door. If I know that it's going to be harm presented to them if I go this way and it's just me, I'm not loaded, I don't have my brother or nobody with me, it's just my kids, we're going to go out the back door, put my ego to the side, and I'm going to take them home. And I'm getting them out of this fucking school. That's me. But see, when you're dealing with other people, you have these other results. And then you get this, who knows if the son is going to be traumatized for the rest of his life? Like, who fucking knows? Who knows? It's time to fight. That deeply sad. And then it's like embarrassing because the girl, of course, they're not doing anything to the girl, but she's standing there defenseless because all these little boys are fighting. Like, what's she supposed to do? I'm at the school fighting. I couldn't do it. It's just time to fight. I'm at the schoolhouse fighting. I don't blame him. The school is dead wrong. Yep, that would have been me. Those children who is bullying a special needs child need their ass whooped. Those parents should be held accountable for their children's action. They aren't trying. Exactly. And the school. Like, how do y'all think that shit is okay? If it persists to the point where there's a brawl, clearly you this is okay. Indeed, go daddy. Messing with special needs is uncool. Special needs people are a protected group. The teachers should have suspended the bullies right away immediately. Because if that man would have did the right thing and walked out the back door and didn't perpetuate this, guess what he would have had on his hand, y'all? Y'all know what we like to do here. A motherfucking lawsuit. Oh, yes. But because you became a player of the game, now all of that goes out the window because you are a part of it. You're a party to the case. You can't sue for something. You're a party to it. You are complicit. You actually are complicit in what you're trying to sue for because they can in turn say you were bullying those kids online. You should never get a documented You're documenting yourself bullying these kids, telling them you'll fight them. What the fuck? I mean, it goes both ways. I know I wouldn't have done that. I'm on the daddy side, and he's smiling. And I will do it again. Smile. Chokeholds for everybody when it comes to mine. Them children are running amok with lack of discipline. When you see it like that, that's when you know that's a school issue, a brawl. And then you saw, I don't know if y'all saw the security guard just walk by, like, just let them fight. Are you fucking kidding me? School and the bully's parents should have been handled this, so therefore it's their fault. Yep, the school will be reprimanded. Yep, and their parents should. Yep, the parents of the bullies didn't attempt to correct their children. Not at all. Not at all. I am with the daddy. Why go after the short bus riding crew? That isn't strength, courage, or morally right. The school failed the special needs kids. The school administrators failed that young man. Yeah, completely. And like, it's traumatized to him. So now if I go to another public school, will this happen to me again? Do I need to be prepared? It's all kind of fright and embarrassing that comes with that kind of stuff. Anyone will get it behind my kids. I mean, now, okay, Blackberry, good morning. Them kids need to keep their hands to themselves. Then daddy wasn't playing. That's right. No, he wasn't. But would y'all have went out the front door? Like, would you went out the front or went out the back? I would have went out the back door with drew my kids and sued them. Okay, we've seen eye to eye. I'd have sued the motherfucking bitch. I'd have sued that hoe. I'd have sued. I'm talking about, it would have been several teachers named the lawsuit. Oh, girl, I ain't even talking about I wasn't even in school on that day, honey. I saw your name on the list. I just added it in. I have all kind of, down to the motherfucking janitor. You complicit too. You ain't say shit. We would have to go to court for the court to pull them names out. Yes, you will have to pay for that. There's some negligence on someone's part. Somebody didn't see something, somebody didn't say something. And even if you did, why does the actions come after we get a brawl on TV? Like, hell no, unless I'm going to school with my child. Like I said, with my child, I had to go back to work at that Little Caesars Pizza. You're not returning unless I'm going with you. Every time you go into work, I'm telling them to make sure my apron and my hat is in the back as well. She talking about something. She come there all the time to harass my child while he on his shift. Yeah, okay. A backdoor exit is admission if a hostile environment. There was no protection given to that protected class. Unacceptable. Also, you saying if he'd have walked out the back door, he'd have been admitting that it is a hostile environment. He looks like Charles Barkley. And happy with braces. Just as happy as he want to be. Chill out. If I take you in today, that daddy was using his civil rights that Martin Luther King Jr. marched for. The daddy had every right to use the front door. This kid is part of the protective class. Oh my God. Those kids created a mob environment for him and his children. He was defending himself and his children. I mean, he was tossing them. He's a big guy. When I was in high school, parents would be fighting students all the time after school. Really? It's that Obama sister. Oh my God. All I'm sitting here thinking about is the video clip I just played. Yeah, I'll go somewhere. I will mush your mouth, your child, move, little girl, boy. School fault, period. Yes, the school wasn't protecting the special ed kid. The daddy had to protect him from school. Shame on the school board. Them offering him the back door as an exit is the school. Oh, I agree. And that was where the lawsuit begins. Oh, can you send me an email saying that you are instructing me to go out the back door and why? And I need the email before I actually go out the door. So I'm gonna sit here and wait on my phone for the email. No, go ahead. No, we're fine. No, you got to resend it because you forgot to put in the other reason that because of those. Add that to the email. I'm not leaving until that. I've been all over that shit, but you got me fucked up. I need everything I need for court before I step foot outside this door. I pulled up on some girls running their mouth to my daughter in high school. I blocked their cars and told her to pick one to fight. The teacher was like, she's going to be suspended. I said, okay, beat her. Okay, Kings Mina. Okay. Y'all are not playing about your kids this morning. All right. Now, I'm going to stay tuned to this story. Hopefully, he doesn't have to spend any time in jail. Significant amount of time. And hopefully somebody holds that school accountable because this clearly is a sign of negligence on their part. Now let's get into this other weird story. So this guy accused of killing his wife wins the GOP primary from jail. Now, mind you, let me just give you some scenery, some background. So he he was running for a seat, a board seat. What is it? Clinton Township board seat in Indiana, right? Now, you know, Indiana has these pocketed towns where there's boards, and so there's not really a lot of political activity. So he was running with 3 other candidates, and they weren't running against any Democratic opponents. So before all of this, the man was arrested because he was accused of killing his wife. And during that arrest, he then basically confessed to killing his wife. What he says is he allegedly hit her in the head with a blunt object and dumped her body at a nearby creek in March. And so she had cancer, and she had recently filed for divorce from him. And so he was arrested, and he was held in Boone County Jail without bond. Well, so consequently, while he was in jail, he won the local Republican primary election behind bars. The results show that he received 60 out of 276 votes casted for the Republican candidates. Despite the charges against him, the town is saying that he's illegally allowed to run. And what they're saying is this person is not going to be disqualified from being a candidate for an elected office unless he's convicted at a jury or bench trial. And so there's nothing in the election law that prohibits a person who's been accused from continuing to be a candidate, and whether they've been indicted or arrested in prison, whatever the status may be, they remain eligible until or unless they receive a felony conviction. So this man, I said, this has got to be privilege at its finest. You mean to tell me you're campaigning in your city, your town, and on the local news is that you've just been arrested for potentially killing your wife in March of this year, by the way, but you still go on and secure the votes? You know what this is. This is them small pocketed towns where some of this kind of behavior is complicit. We talked about it at Little Caesars Pizza in Oklahoma. What do you all think about that? Now, I thought it was a very, very crazy that they would even allow him to even consider, like, you don't remove him or disqualify him for even being a potential suspect of something like this, or you put him on hold. So now he goes on to run the office. I don't know. It's giving lawsuit, and I'm here for a good lawsuit. I'm always here for a good one, just a good one. As long as you got a good attorney or retainer, you can't do anything to kids anymore. You can't chastise them. You can't break up fights. You can detain them, reprimand them, lecture them without some ignorant parent or charges brought against you. Yeah. So you would say that some of that is necessary, like restraint and detaining? His smile is giving lawsuit in my future. I know you. Yeah, right. The whole time. He confessed. He confessed to killing this lady. She had cancer and just recently divorced from him. He hit her over the head with a glaze bottle, a vase, took her body, buried it behind some creek. They find it 7 days later, and he goes on to campaign during this time, March, April, for this position. News break that his wife is dead. He's a potential suspect. I don't know if that amplified more votes, like, oh shit, what? Or if it was a sympathy, oh, we're gonna, if it was like, okay, we're gonna help you because, you know, we're sympathetic, we're empathizing with you. Whatever the case may be, if that man is elected to that position before they could even come to, like, if he's been convicted or not, I think that's telling of the town. I think that's bullshit. I think it's very telling. Like, you got an elected official up there who killed his wife, and you knew about it. Like, we all have sat here all together and watched this case on the news. Now, you know, this could have been a Black person. This could have been a Latino person. This couldn't have been an Asian American, maybe. I don't know. But it couldn't have been some folks of color. I'll tell you that much. That shit would have been stopped at the gate. Like, wait a minute now. He did what? So that's why I was like, okay, why is the outcry from the wife's family? Complicity. That's why. Complicity. There has to be some complicit nature going on. It has to be. So I'm going to stay tuned to this story, keep y'all up to date on what's going on. Hopefully this man is not elected. Hopefully I'm telling you by next week that he has been indicted that they bypassed a whole, they just went to a straight grand jury because the man confessed. Like, what do you mean he can still proceed? He confessed. We're not talking about somebody who was being a suspect or, oh, maybe he did it. No. He said he did it. So what, we want to wait for a jury to tell us that, okay, yeah, he did it. He's sentenced. He's really a criminal. Yeah, okay. For the privilege of it all, suspension is not potential if he confessed. He confessed. Right. So that's why I pulled it out. I said, oh, okay, we'll stay tuned. So I'll stay tuned to that. All right, an update. So Jared Fogle, you remember Jared Fogle, Mr. Subway himself, who was arrested and caught on child pornography charges. Well, the folks around him who have been conspired a part of this, they've been getting swiped up too. So get into this. So the guy I just showed you, Russell Taylor, he was charged alongside former Subway spokesperson Jared Fogle for crimes against children. Let me tell you what this man did. So basically what his part of it is that they opened up a child, sort of like in a children's home where they would have sort of kids stay as a placement. And so they would hide cameras in this house to secretly record the minor children fully nude and or engaging in sexual activity. And in addition to viewing the hidden camera footage, Taylor and Baldwin also distributed these images and videos to each other and to Fogle and to other members of the conspiracy. And so prosecutors filed new charges against Taylor in June 2021 due to the nature of producing child sexual abuse material. And he was found guilty by a jury in October. And so the case was investigated by several agencies. And so this is one of the last two, this guy, Russell Taylor, and his wife being sentenced for being complicit in helping Jared Fogle in the child sex abuse case. And so it's so crazy how a lot of times these rings of sexual abuse is like built under a wall of protection. They literally set up I don't know what the home is called, but it was like an adoption home where they would bring kids in and let these kids live for a limited time. And they had cameras all over the house. And that was the footage and that was the stuff that they sent to Jared Fogle. Now, how they got caught? Well, somebody sent those same pictures that they got, not Jared Fogle, but they got from Russell Taylor to the police. And the police was able to identify those pictures as the same pictures that Jared Fogle received on his phone. And that's where they drew a connection. So the guy said, we got it from this couple. And the couple was complicit. And the wife, she was one of the key individuals who built a relationship with the kids, would take the picture, the hidden images, install them, download them to her phone, send them to her husband, who would then send them to Fogle and other associates. So I'm glad that they have been sentenced to child exploitation. And I hope this sends a message to everybody else who think that this is the way to go. It's certainly not. The fuck is wrong with you? Bitch, go check yourself into a behavioral health clinic. Just walk in the front doors and say, I'm here. Let them ask you why. Bitch, just getting in the door is the first step. Like you're sick. You're fucking sick. There's nothing sexual, nothing attractive on that level about a fucking child. You are got to be sick, and you're weak-minded, a whole pussy. And I can only imagine the parents of these children having to go to court and see all of these images and videos of their kids being, well, they were adopted children, but the caretakers of them nowadays seeing all of this stuff and being like, what kind of sick-minded individual? Sick as fuck. Dog, you're sick. That's it. At that point, you might as well go start fucking horses. Like, what the fuck are you doing? That's sick to me. That is sick. Now, that is sick and harmful behavior. That's a vulnerable population of group of people that you're taking advantage of, like the elderly, in nursing homes and nursing home abuse. All of that shit is sick. So I'm glad that this couple, and I'm so shocked that it was a woman complicit in this shit. I'm glad that they're finally being sentenced. These people are truly respecting innocent until proven guilty. Even followers of fools. We'll see how it turns out. He is in his jail cell saying, I run this town. Okay. And you beat the other two candidates who are not in jail. They're out. Like, they're literally out. We couldn't choose them. They weren't a better one for us. Jared Fogle is a complete weirdo. I always thought he was strange. Very much so. He even doesn't he give Goofy in the face? Traveling to have sex with a minor is unfortunately high tourism to many countries. It's sad. Yeah, it is. Thank you so much for the drop in. Thank you, Stig girl. I hear you. I hear you. I see you. Not I run this town from a jail cell. I ain't. Okay, wow. Very gross. How is Jared from Subway still a problem 20 years later? Because it took them this long to figure out to figure out the nature, how far back these images go. What was the ring like? You know, they had to start pulling out players and stuff like that. And I think there's now down to the final 2 people who are being sentenced for this. How did the newsroom get there so fast? You mean where so fast? Oh, you mean to the fight, the brawl? That was footage from the student cell, student cell phones. I wish I would see a news camera at my school during a fight. Like, damn, bitch, which of these kids is yours? Jared was so long ago, those kids are now grown. And it took this long to get to that point. That's a Scooby-Doo line. All right, so now let's talk about Casey White. So you all know, everybody know what ended up happening to Vicky White and the inmate Casey White. They both were found. Now, they were tipped off to their location. So if you don't know what happened, let me just catch you up to what has happened. So the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office had received a tip late Sunday night claiming the 2 were spotted at a hotel in Indiana.
We've got some big breaking news in just the last couple of minutes here. The corrections officer and accused killer she suspected.
Okay, sorry about that. So, oh my God.
In Alabama are now in custody.
Okay, sorry about that. So they received a tip that the 2 were at a hotel in Indiana. When authorities arrived at the scene, they fled in a black Ford F-150 truck with Casey behind the wheel and Vicky in the passenger seat. So when they, the car chase continued going on, they got into a crash. And that's when it was stated that Vicky had shot herself with the gun. And so at that time, Casey White had told officers, y'all help my wife. She shot herself in the head and I didn't do it. And so they rushed her to the nearby hospital after suffering a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And she was pronounced as a very serious injury, and she was pronounced dead. A search for the 2 started after Vicky White, a former assistant director of corrections at Lauderdale County Detention Center, said she was taking this guy for a mental health evaluation. Now, here's the thing. This is what I want to show you all. I know I never showed you all this clip, but look at this clip of her walking him out of the cell. And I was saying to myself, like, they didn't see, this wasn't like something they saw. Nobody saw how smooth she did this. So take a look at how smooth this Vicky White was in getting her boo out, because he definitely was somebody that she.
Her in this chase. So it was tips from citizens that helped get these 2 into custody. So again, they escaped. They were found in Indiana. They were on the run for a little more than a week. Vicky White, remember, was set to retire the very day she disappeared with Casey White. She told officers she'd been transporting White to an appointment. Vicky White, again, now in the hospital. You heard the sheriff allude to that. Both are facing some very serious
just
charges.
Opened the door
the
for
sheriff
him.
Say of Vicky White that
One more
he hopes
time.
that she survives and says that Casey White.
Watch this again.
She told officers she'd been transporting White to an appointment.
Look
Vicky
at
White,
that.
again, now in the hospital. You heard the sheriff allude to that. Both are facing some very serious charges. We heard the sheriff say of Vicky White that.
So when I saw that, I said, oh, okay, yeah. And she also rented the Ford F-150 truck that they drove to get away. She had rented that like a couple of days earlier, which was also very telling that she was complicit in what was going on. So now she used an alias to buy the orange 2007 Ford Edge using their escape. She had 2 fake IDs to their knowledge, but they suspected that there could be more. The Ford Edge was found abandoned on Friday. They're not related He has now been taken back to Alabama, where he'll be arraigned and charged. Now, remember, he was facing capital charges and facing the death penalty, and so facing life behind bars. And so here we are back with this. And so it's almost like she just took out a 3 or 4 day binge on playing with her life to kill herself. And it's so sad. I first thought, like, did she really shoot herself? But when the news report started saying that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound, that lets me know that they verified that the way in which forensics, like, you know, there's ways they can tell if it was a self-inflicted because the distance and the splatter, the behind the gun, of whether you can do it to yourself or not. And so clearly they must have proven that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So very, very sad way to end. It sounds like she sort of was on the end of her own journey or whatever that may have been. But, you know, I'll stay tuned to see what he's going to be sentenced to in this. And it's, you know, it sucks. Now let's move to this next story. So this Vermont man charged with killing his mom by letting her drown at sea to get inheritance worth $7 million. Now the guy is a special needs guy. So when his father was killed, he was suspected, but because he was special needs, nobody said nothing. Just let it go. And that was a year earlier. So then his mother, they were out on a boat out on sea, and she fell over, allegedly, and they found her body unresponsive. And he had been suspected again, but, you know, he's special needs. No one really is going to say anything. And so they finally got evidence on this man. So check this out. Now, this shit, I said, damn, the shit people can get away with, because I would have never suspected him of doing something like this myself.
Years, police arrest a man who was found on a raft after a boating accident that killed his mother. But tonight, police say it is no accident and he is charged with her murder. The U.S. attorney in Vermont says Nathan Carman killed his mother and sank their boat off the coast of Rhode Island.
Carman was found 8 days later floating on a raft, and tonight federal prosecutors say it was all part of his plan to collect a lot of money. WBZ Chief Investigator Cheryl Fiandaca is joining us live in studio right now. And Cheryl, talk about a big update in this case.
It sure is a big update. Now prosecutors are calling it murder on the high seas. Federal prosecutors charging Nathan Carman with killing his mother on an overnight 2016 fishing trip, calling it all part of a premeditated scheme to inherit millions.
Rescued off of Martha's Vineyard in 2016, a grateful Nathan Carman said he stayed alive on this raft for more than a week after his boat, the Chicken Pox, sank with his mother on board.
I just want to thank the public for their prayers, and I want to thank the crew of the ship for taking such good care of me.
But police never believed his story and uncovered evidence that appeared to show the boat had been tampered with. Linda Carman's body was never found, and there were questions about the 2013 shooting death of Carman's grandfather, John Chocolos, in Connecticut. Carman was asked about both cases in 2018 when his aunt sued him for his portion of the inheritance.
I have no idea who killed my grandfather. I know that I did not. I had nothing to do with my mother's death.
Now, 6 years later, federal prosecutors in Vermont say Carman did kill his mother as part of a scheme to inherit millions, a scheme that they say started with the murder of his grandfather, a claim he denied in 2019 when he sued the boat's insurance company for failing to pay on the loss.
We don't know what.
Clearly, this man has murdered his grandfather, allegedly murdered his grandfather, and I'm glad they found evidence of him murdering his mother. Now, all I could think about was the moments of his mother on that boat and them not find, you know, on the boat before. I thought that she was like fell off the boat, but because they found a body, her body off the boat, so I assume that she got pushed off the boat, but they found the boat with nobody on the boat. The days later, they found her body, and they found him floating on a raft down the stream. And from that, police suspected something, but again, nothing really came out of it. 6 fucking years later, after living off of this inheritance, after being sued by the siblings of his mother, and because it's the grandfather's really money, sued by them, now they uncover evidence that this man conspired to kill his mom and his grandfather. What a sick ass individual. Like, you know, it got me because I was like, damn, I didn't know. You never know how smart people that you may think are not. I would have never thought that he would be able to conspire something like this. That baffled me. But when money's involved, you never know what people are capable of doing. You never know. So it took this man, it took the police 6 years. So they gave themselves credit saying that, you know, after all of this work, the FBI, the Vermont police and the FBI came together and they were able to convict him. So he's facing life in prison if he's convicted of the murder charge, as well as up to 30 years if found guilty on the fraud charges. So
it's a major
I will
development
keep
tonight
you
in a
all.
story that we've been covering for years. Police arrest a man who was found on a raft after a boating
I don't know why I do this. I'll keep you all updated on this story. Now, before we get into the last story, I want to show y'all something. I was on Twitter and I saw this. Yes, the K word is stronger than the N word, at least currently. Misogyny and patriarchy has been around longer than slavery. Just don't use either, okay? Dear millennials, stop saying Karen. Karen is a sexist and racist term equivalent to the N word for white women. Calling a woman Karen is an attempt to get rid of women's right to stand up for themselves. And I said, let me go and cop this for the news crew. So do y'all know that there are some people out there who think that they call it K word now. Saying Karen or calling a white woman Karen is equivalent to using the N word for a black person. How and where sway? How and where sway? And you're saying it under the context that patriarchy and misogyny were existed long before slavery? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? What you mean was one was tolerated and the other one was forced, right? One was tolerated and grown into this level of now, you know, we have the Me Too movement, we have exercise of the rights. That was forced, and we're still dealing with that. Like, to me, there was no connection to that at all. So I saw that and was like, okay, you're doing a little bit much. They were spotted here then a few hours in Indiana. She killed herself. Special needs. My ass. He heard 7 million. Said bye, mom and dad. Hello, riches. I remember this story. Hey, V sent me a message. This V, I saw your video. You have a live stream coming up. You have girl. Let me do this. V got tomorrow, Friday at 8 p.m. V is going live. She has an exclusive interview with actress, singer, and author Cinda Williams. Please, let's be in the building. 8 p.m. Friday. Cinda Williams, she is known for Better Blues, One False Move. So, yes, we will be there. V, you got our support. We definitely going to be up in the building. And shout out again for the exclusive interviews. I look forward to it. I do. You know, I'll be in the chat trying to do some conversations. He ain't special ed needs. He is fully aware of his pre-planned murder. He may be slow, but he ain't dumb. What special needs does he have? Homie seems to be fully aware and understand what the fuck going on. He looks and sounds like he did it. The things people do for money, privileged bastard. His mother realized at the moment of her death that her son ain't slow. I'm telling you, all I could think about was her on that boat in that last moment. Like, oh my God, you really did do something to my dad, your grandfather. The love of money is the root of all evil. Child, the last story I just got here. Hey, Peace. Hey, Peace. Good morning, Peace. Yes, one more story. Yeah. It's one of them days that lady is a Karen reaching. What? I knew y'all was gonna snap on that. Morning, Peace. Morning, Peace. Good morning to you, child. Please, Karen, please. I knew y'all was gonna say that. By people trying to make themselves a victim. This is an ignorant stance that I don't have energy to address and had the nerve to say they're standing up for themselves. Child, please. Him hoes are chaos demons. They can't take 3 years of being caught Karen. And we have decades. Are you fucking kidding me? Talking about something, it's the K word. The K word. I was so offended. It's the K word. Oh, okay. Go home, Karen. My sister voice. Stop, Karen. Ain't the same. I called a lady Karen yesterday at the gas station. Oh my God. Have I ever called someone publicly Karen? I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't think I have. Not yet. I'm just gonna say not yet. I haven't caught anyone Karen, but it's really weird to think that saying calling they feel like when they're labeled Karen, as if when they call someone an N-word, like or when they call someone an N-word, it's the same way than being called. Are you kidding me? That you're gonna need some more weight on that, honey. You're gonna need to be some more weight on that. We're gonna need to take some hoses to wherever the Karens are. We're gonna need to do it's a lot more that comes with the N-word. You don't just get the K word and all you get is being called the police on for your foolish behavior, discriminatory behavior. Get the fuck out of here. Cinda is best known for her role in Spike Lee's Mo Better Blues as Clark Benacourt with Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes. We in there, B. Yes, that's Friday at 8 p.m. And I'll share the live on Friday too to remind you all. White women will always have the audacity to just do the most. Now, granted, there are some very nice and kind white women out there. I don't want to certainly say that's everyone. You know, I definitely know some and have some really good relationships with white women in different races, but there are some who just toe that line like, what are we really doing here? What's going on? All right, Gene, speaking of special needs, let's get into this next story. So Gene Charles, father of New Kensington boy found dead, arrested in connection with the November incident. So this story right here took me. That's why it's like one of the last stories. So, baby, when I tell you this one took me out, it took me out. So so this father, his name is Gene Charles. So Gene Charles was arrested for an incident that happened in November. And so what happened in November is he has a 9-year-old boy who's special needs. And so the boy, he's autistic. So when he's sleeping at night in his bedroom, he's making noise. And so the father punched him in his eye because he was making noise. So when the father woke up, when the boy woke up, he told his mom, he punched me in my eye. And so the mom, of course, she contacted the police. She let the police know that he punched my son under the eye. They took pictures and all that good stuff. Then the father, a detective followed up with them. A criminal complaint was filed with the New Kensington police. And then a detective followed up with him with the case. And they said they saw the bruising. They took pictures. The boy was interviewed on December 13th. And he said, my dad punched me in the eye. The boy said his father punched him in the eye because he was making noise in the bedroom. Police charged Charles on December 22nd. Both charges were misdemeanors. Charge was ordered to be held without bond when he was arraigned. Now, mind you, now listen. Now, on December 22nd, when he was charged with hitting his son, a misdemeanor, he wasn't held, just charged, and he was out, right? Now, it brings us to today. So, Wednesday of last week, this 9-year-old boy was found dead behind a neighbor's backyard underneath a lawn chair. So remember what I said, they never arrested the father back then, right? So now all of a sudden these bitches, yes, I'm going there because y'all know I have an attitude with this story, decide that they want to arrest him, not because of the son being found dead. They want to arrest him because of what he did back on December 22nd in connection with those misdemeanor charges. And they're holding him without bond because now they want to play, let's connect this to that. That shit pissed me off, y'all. Now, let me tell you the details surrounding the death of this 9-year-old boy. So what they're saying is that his body was found by a 70-year-old man in the neighborhood in a wooded area behind this man's home. He said the man was knocking door to door because he had been told by his mother, the boy's mother, Tuesday night that he was missing. So he offered himself. He went out looking. This 70-year-old man went out looking because he typically plays with the kids in the neighborhood. And so he said that he always knows where Azuri goes, the 9-year-old boy goes to hang out. And so when he went to that area, which is in his backyard near this lawn chair, he opened it up and he looked under it and he found his body. And so the boy was clothed, but not wearing shoes or socks. He said he doesn't know what happened to Azuri, but that the boy had been sick and had gone through a lot of operations. He had 3 younger sisters, and they all lived with their mother in the complex. So at that time, This is last Wednesday now. At that time, the whole community was shooken up. They didn't know what was going on. People were scared. Somebody was in the neighborhood messing with the kids. And now we move to this week where they arrested this man, Jean Charles, because of the charges in December 22nd, but no connection right now, as we know. I'm going to continue reporting on this story. I have so many hoes. One, mom, mother, mommy, mother, mom, mother. Please tell me that that was the first ever time he hit your child, because I'm feeling like this was multiple incidents that led to this. I'm feeling like this could have been when that caseworker came to the home during that black eye at that point in time. Why wasn't this man taken out of the house? Fuck it. Why wasn't this special needs child taken out of the house? You just gonna hit this child because he's doing what he can't help. He's making fucking noise. So now we have this all going on, and now the child is found dead. And you think I'm supposed to, I feel no fucking sorry. I don't feel sorry for the mother. I don't feel sorry for the father. And I don't feel sorry for the state. I felt like that mom should have definitely kept that father away from that child. You're not going to punch my fucking child in the face because of this. Which if you couldn't, then there means there's some other issues going on in this household the caseworker should have been involved in. I'm not letting up on none of that shit. I don't care. I don't care. This is a 9-year-old child who was very vulnerable, found under a neighbor's yard. Hell, the stories tell us that everybody else was looking out for him but you, mom. So yeah, that really angered me this morning. I just don't get it. I don't understand what's so hard in protecting them, like the babies. King, I'm having my 1K party tonight. Come on over if y'all can. Oh, I'm there, Demas. Oh, congratulations! Look at you. Everybody is hitting these milestones. This shit is good. You got the 1K. V got the hours. We about to pop it up. I'm coming through. You got my word. I'm coming through. I can't wait to call someone a Karen publicly. People are very PC. Thank you, Peace. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Demas. Oh, so proud of you. Yeah, okay. That sex scene between her. Okay. It'll be 9 Eastern time. So we come ask her about it. Okay. This here is hitting home. My nephew is autistic who is barely verbal. I feel for these children. My heart aches for those that grow up in homes void of patience and love for them. It's really sickening and sad. Oh my God. Wow. Right. How is child abuse so carelessly overlooked? Why was the father even released? That's where I was at. He hit the damn child like he was a nigga on the street. And the boy just loving his dad is just saying, yeah, my dad punched me in the eye because I was making noise. Oh my God. That really got to me. I'm like, whoa. Okay, baby, let's turn around. Let's come back the other way. I can only imagine. I probably would have gotten in bed with my son and held him. Like, here we go. I could see me putting headphones on. And I'm thinking about the moments where I was irritated with my fucking dog when he was pissing as a baby and he would be mad at me yelling at him. So he'd be shaking and scared because he think I'm yelling at him. I'm like, oh, he's scared of me. And so I'm just relating just a little fatherly moments to your child probably just needs some love. Like love goes so far when you just wrap people around it. Like to resort to beating your own. That's your flesh. That's your blood. That's your everything. I would never be embarrassed of my special needs child to the point where I'm gonna punch him. My baby better not walk out of this house with a black eye because of his dad. No. And my special needs child will be done all up. My auntie from marriage, she had a special needs child, and he used to be in every fucking label done up. But he didn't know he was fly as hell. But he was fly. Like still, they need all that love and support still. So this really tugged at my heart. It really did. Yeah, it is, V. That man wouldn't have been allowed to come near my child after that hit. Any aggressive actions towards my nephew and my family would be on. That's what I'm saying. You're not coming back in this house, but you're going to have to punch. Maybe she was getting, then that's why I said those other issues in the house. Like maybe it was domestic violence towards her as well. Maybe the child wasn't the only one subjected to this. Maybe she was as well. The fact that the neighbor knew where to look for that child and found him, how come no one else thought to look at his favorite play spot? No love. No love is always woulda, shoulda, coulda when the child is dead instead of straight action. Fucking immediately. I'm telling you, if I felt like the mom was in the right position to, you have a case, honey. You have a case. He should have never been let out. In fact, you should have got a restraining order on this man. Like, he should have never been out. The mom didn't beat the hell out of that one. You punched my baby for making noise. We all on the same page. You punching a 9-year-old child? Your old ass is punching and not any child, your child. Like, this child has to look at you for the rest of the life knowing that you punched me. Remember you punched me in the eye because you remember that? Like, that's that kind of guilt that eats at a person for the rest of their life. That kind of shit will have a person trying to treat you the best for the rest of their life. That's why it's always good to come being kind and nice first, because you hate to come back like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. Like, and this is your child. I'm calling the police, all right, calling on my damn self to tell them you better come get me. I can't handle these. Yes, V, I'm sorry. Yes, that shit, it really is sad. It is sad. It is sad. You're right. Yeah. All right, y'all. Let me move on to the next story. Our last story is an update. So I don't know if you all have heard about the Quadry Sanders, the guy who was shot and killed by police officers in Oklahoma. And these two former police officers, they were both put on leave and suspended. And then finally they were fired from their positions in January of this year as new charges came from the district attorney. So remember, the shooting took place around 8:30 p.m. when officers received a call about a violation of a protective order and a gun. And so what I'm going to play for you first is going to be the 911 call. The 911 call. And so what I want you to hear in the 911 call is listen for intent. You hear the person calling saying that there's something going on. And so the police officers arrived on scene based on what they've heard through this 911 call. And so I want you to first hear this because there's a lot more to this story. Let's see, which one is it? Oh, shit. Okay.
Here to have a weapon. Sanders, with a baseball cap in his hand, found his hands raised over.
Okay, wrong video. All right, yeah. Hold on. Listen to this call real quick. My videos are all over the place. All right. You want to play?
I'm just trying to make sure there's something on the way already because it's been 25 minutes and he's still in the house with a gun.
The Lawton police responded. Officials say Sanders went out a side door before emerging to the front of the house. Sanders appears to pause in response to officer commands. He does not flee and does not appear to have a weapon. Sanders, with a baseball cap in his hand, seemingly complies, then is shot. He falls to the ground, his hands raised over his head. We've paused the graphic video, but you can hear rounds of gunshots fired again while Sanders is on the ground. The officers appear to stand over a dying Sanders for about 2 minutes before mentioning medical aid. According to police, he was pronounced dead at the hospital. After, the officers asking one another, "Did you see it?" Initially, the police department says the officers were placed on paid leave.
So now those two former police officers, they have been charged in the fatal shooting of 29-year-old Quadry Sanders. And so they're being charged with first-degree manslaughter following these events that occurred on December 5th. The DA said that the shooting was not justified. And so I've just, of course, I'm glad that the DA took swift action and they're charging these two officers for these incidents. The family lawyer said he could not find a single redeemable factor that mitigates any aspect of this shooting, calling it murder with no justification. My thoughts and prayers go out to the parents and those in our community who lost a loved one, adding that the loss of his life in our community is always a difficult matter to grasp. And so this young man was previously cleared of wrongdoing in April 2021 after shooting and killing 24-year-old Zontarius Johnson, who police say displayed a weapon in an alley. No weapon was found at the scene of Sanders' shooting. It really shocks the conscience when you have a chance to see Mr. Sanders literally doing whatever he could to try to save his own life, and these officers are operating with such callousness. And so he does have, his family has set up a GoFundMe in the amount of, I think it's $85,000 to help pay for the funeral costs to support him. Now, it's interesting. It's a lot of different holes in the story. So it's interesting that they're taking swift action. They fired these, they were fired in January. This happened in December. And now we are in May. These officers are being charged. I said, is it because there's a black man involved? Like one of the police officers are black? That, oh, now we can actually do this. Now we have a case, because typically in these cases, you see the police union put a whole, pause on this. It's all splashy with them, but we don't get that here. You don't get a sense that there's the police unit helping them or offering any layer of support here. And, granted, it was wrong. The man didn't look like he had any weapon in his hand. Although the 911 call, that's why I wanted to play it, said that this man has a gun. He has a gun in the house. It didn't appear that he had one. And in fact, when he fell on the ground, he had his hands up. And so the fact that they fired rounds and more rounds and then stood over his body for 2 minutes before calling for medical attention is like, oh, wow. So, okay, that's clear. We didn't have any other clear signs in any other cases across America that required such swift action. So I looked at it like that. I looked at it for the response that it received. It seems like they're moving quite forward with this case. The mother, she posted on her son's GoFundMe that this is my son. His sister started this GoFundMe after he was shot and killed by police. Since then, 2 of the officers involved have been terminated. We have also been fighting to get his children out of state custody. In the state of Oklahoma, grandparents do not have the rights, so we are being told that we would need to get counsel to help. Although we have done all that we were told to do in order to get them, the state of Oklahoma refuses to give back in touch with his concerning our grandchildren. Now, on top of losing my son, there's the possibility of losing his lineage to the state of Oklahoma if we are unable to get counsel. Please help us and help the children. And so thought that was sad as well, that the children are not being able to be with their grandparents, because I guess in the state of Oklahoma, the children are automatically given custody. Their custody is given to the state. So it's a very, very sad story. I'm watching it and I'm watching how it's being unfolded. This makes my heart ache. I have special ed needs cousins. They are protected like no one's business. You can't even raise your voice or look at them funny because my family will stomp anyone out. Exactly. You too, Risa. Thank you for coming through. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. It's very sad. And he looked like he was like totally a father's man. If you see these pictures down there of him and his children, him and his mother. Also got a picture of him at the GoFundMe site. So if you go check out the video, you'll see more graphic. I couldn't play the whole video again. I don't want to be age restricted, but so just go check the video out for yourself. His name is Quadry Sanders. And I just find this story to be shocking that the police officers, they move with swift action. Now, this is exactly what we want them to do. So I love to be able to pair this up with the story that's coming in the future of police officer brutality and say, now, look, remember when we had this story and we had all of these things that led to this, and now we have this story. What's the difference? And so I wanted to put a marker in this and I wanted to bring it to your attention. And so that is all of the stories I have today. I will ask why the extra force for Black people, but do a peaceful negotiation with non-Blacks with drinks and burgers afterwards, provided by the police at the expense of the taxpayer. So, yeah, it was definitely extra force. It definitely was uncalled for. And you can clearly see on the video that the guy didn't have anything in his hands. So I'll stay tuned to that. And that's all I had today. So we covered the anonymous donor who supported Texas Wiley College students, their 2022 graduate class, by covering all of their remaining balances, giving them the opportunity to go out into the world debt-free. I think that is so amazing. Stimulus checks for 4 states so far: Indiana, Illinois, Oklahoma, and what's it, Oklahoma? Oh, Delaware and California. But certain requirements. So you got to check that out. Taraji gave us a Planned Parenthood abortion PSA. Go check that video out. I'll put it on my community wall. Texas mother married her daughter off to a 47-year-old man, was charged, and he was charged as well. And she was sentenced to 30 years, and he has 20 to 22 years. Jacob Smalls shot his mom, and she's in stable condition, but shot her on Mother's Day because she didn't like the Xbox controller that he got her. And he decided to shoot his mom, and so she's in stable condition. He is being held without bond. And my question to you all was, would you go forth with the suit against your child for something like this? Tucson Brawl, after special needs student was bullied and father comes to the school to rescue his children. Instead of going out the back door, he decides to go out the front door where the brawl occurred. Check that out on Twitter, Tucson Brawl. We talked about this man who was accused of killing his wife, and he wins the Republican primary from jail. Now, the whole city knew he was a suspect. He was in the news, but he continued to campaign and won against his two other candidates. Crazy. The guy who helped Jared Fogle, him and his wife have been sentenced for their complicit part in getting the child pornography exploited to other people. We talked about the Casey White update and how he is now back in jail. In addition to the charges he was facing, he's facing some now new additional charges. The son drowns his mother for $7 million for her inheritance from her father. So he kills her father and then goes on and murders her to receive her $7 million inheritance. It took about 6 years for them to finally catch him. Sad. Jean Charles was arrested in connection with the November incident with his son, Azur. And then last week, his son was found dead under a lawn chair. And then finally, we talked about Quadry Sanders and how the police who have been charged with manslaughter in the fatal shooting of Quadry Sanders and how swift this action has been. And then finally, we also, as a bonus, talked about Karen becoming the new K word as a shallow way of saying, the N word. Girl, if you don't get your ass out of here with that shit, I wish somebody would say that shit to me. I would definitely be like, baby, bye. Oklahoma states need to get there together. They have done this black family wrong. Remember, Tulsa, Oklahoma is showing their colors again. Jim Crow, Oklahoma. Yeah, we talked about that last week. Oklahoma is offering the reparations. Well, they're moving the case forward. Nothing has been given yet, and it doesn't do much. It's just they get tax-free property for 99 years. Bitch, bye. Nice watch. Oh, thank you, Zach. Yeah, I just got off a Zoom Zoomy early this morning, and now we back into the street. So, all right, you all, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know sometimes we dip in and out of so many topics today. We talked about a lot of different things, but I'm glad we're able to get here this morning and cover some of the local news. I will be back Friday, 6:30 a.m. with hot topics, all topics, local news, all topics. And I will be talking about the Young Thug situation. I'm letting more details come out. I'm letting more stuff happen. I saw Young Thug as first courtroom appearance, and I was like, now Young Thug, I mean, so much surrounding this case, from the fact that YSL is a division of the blood gangs. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I started piecing stuff together. I mean, they talked about the Lil Wayne bus shooting. I'm like, they talked about how YFNL Lucci was supposed to be shot in jail. They're supposed to be getting him killed in jail. Like, what is going on? You have all this money, you decide to do that. So we're going to talk about that on Friday. That is all I have. Thank you all again for being here. Please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And as always, choose positivity first before we start doing this violent stuff. The weekend is not even here. We are hump day. It is a hump day. Have a great day, everyone. You too. Thank you. This will be making my mornings. It stops me from slapping my managers. Baby, if we could just slap a manager too. Grand Rising. Thank you, Zaire. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, Black Swan. Thank you. Thank you. I always appreciate seeing you down in the chat. No, V, you good. Thank you, V. And we will be over there Friday, 8 p.m. Okay. I'm going to get my questions ready too. No doubt. All right, you all. Thank you. And until next time, y'all. Deuces. Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman News gonna come right through. Gonna give you that news just like you know he can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman News.
Good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman News. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman News, coming just for you. King Roman News, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman News, King Roman News. Let's go.